SummerSlam. WWE. Well done. Yeah? About time you creative earn their money out here. Let's just review this SummerSlam real quick. Let's get straight into it because I'm excited, I'm happy. So, WWE SummerSlam 2020. It was anticipated. We were all a bit worried. They got us to Thunderdome. Was like, alright, let's see what I want. Kicked off the show. To say kicked off the show is an understatement. It was a kickoff show, and they put Apollo and MVP's match on the kickoff show, which is it's kind of pointless. I'm getting to the point now where make the kickoff show half an hour and make the show like 3.5 hours, 4 hours if you have to, because it's not fair. Yeah, we've had a massive build to what they've been doing, and just to put them on a kickoff show, it's very hard for us fans to care when WWE don't care themselves. But what I'll say is, they came out. The Hurt Business came out with some great match, but then when you look a little bit closer, it just says Bobby Lashley at the bottom. So, sorry, Shelton Benjamin, your name ain't on there. But I'm going to get one of them t-shirts, like that. Not much more to say about this match, you know what I mean? It was a great back and forth match. I kind of knew Apollo was going to pick up the victory anyway. Sadly, it seems like it would be one of them what go nowhere with the whole Apollo and Hurt Business thing. Apollo, I'm guessing, will move on from here and start fighting some other people, and the Hurt Business will go and do some Hurt Business stuff. But yeah. Alright, match. Apollo picks up the victory. We're going to the main show. I kind of knew it was going to start off with Asuka versus Bayley. Obviously, Asuka has 2 matches on the night. This match was for the SmackDown Women's title. It did not disappoint one bit. It had everything in the match. Both women went at it. Just fire. I loved it. There was great heel work from Bayley. For some reason, when a true heel's there and they start doing the little details in the match, it's not the big things, it's not the big spots, it's the little details. I really love it, which is the same for Sasha when I'll go on to that a little bit later. Asuka didn't win this match, and the match actually finished with, I think Asuka went for a hip attack, and Sasha went up on the apron. As she went for the hip attack, Sasha took the hip attack. Bayley rolled up Asuka, 1, 2, 3. Women's champion, like that. So, yeah, I mean, Bayley kept her belt. Bayley, those straps are still in full effect. Next after that, went on Street Profits versus Andrade and Angel Garza. Yes, it was an impressive match. Did I care? Not really. There was a little bit more emotion in it, and that's granted since they tried to poison Montez Ford. But for some, it's not the Street Profits or Garza and Andrade, it's the Raw tag team titles. There's not anything behind it. They don't make us, it's like what I said about the United States title. They don't show enough importance in their weekly show on Raw to when it gets to a pay-per-view that I care enough. I'm sure that when the fans come back it might, but if you look back to like when WrestleMania, when we had the Hardys return and stuff like that, how big it was at the Raw titles and stuff like that. Now they're just kind of, a lot of the times I have to remember, I have to go and look to see who actually has the titles, and that's no disrespect to the Street Profits. But Street Profits picks up the victory. Montez with the frog splash, athletic, it was great. Both teams were great. Yeah, I loved it. After that match, we went on to the Mandy Rose versus Sonya match. It was supposed to be a hair versus hair. I'm so glad they didn't do that. I don't want to see any of these with a ball head, like that. This match was loser leaves the WWE. I had my prediction that Sonya Deville would lose the match. I don't really want to get into personal stuff too much, but we all heard what happened to Sonya in her personal life, and I kind of felt like the fact that match was made, I'm like, if she loses, she can take some time out from the WWE and sort her life out, or take a well-earned break, because no one deserves what happened to her. But what I will say is, the match was a good match. Both women went at it. I liked seeing it because I don't feel like they don't get enough time on SmackDown. I wanted the match to go a little bit longer. I feel like the match shouldn't have been a no disqualification match because they didn't use it, if that makes any sense. So there was a few spots on the outside of the ring, but apart from that, they didn't use it too much. Do you know what I'm saying? They didn't use weapons too much. There was a spot where Mandy Rose was trying to throw chairs at Sonya Deville, but they were sliding off the table, and Sonya kept ducking them like she was Neo at the Matrix, and I was all about that. Yeah, it was kind of cool to see. It was quite funny. There's a part where Mandy was trying to lift up the table that weren't happening, but that's wrestling for you. only criticism I have of the match is not any of the wrestling. There wasn't enough emotion in the match for me. If someone's going to be losing their career, like their job, I know they don't like each other at the moment, but they had such a history that I thought that when Mandy Rose, when she picked up the victory, I thought there would have been a hesitation for the pin, kind of. You know what I mean? Kind of like how Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair did when he was like, sorry, I love you, and had to pin. It didn't have to be that deep, but Mandy hit her with about 4 knees, and then she hit her with her finishing move, and just pinned her. And then there was a little spot, Otis ran down to the ring, and they've done a caterpillar together, and you know, happy love story. There wasn't too much emotion from Sonya Deville herself, the fact that she just lost her job. But if you go onto WWE, the YouTube channel, they had the little news clips behind. Somebody was trying to ask Sonya Deville about her losing, and she said, don't call me that. So I don't know if this means that Sonya's going to take a break, but when she comes back, she ain't going to have the name Sonya Deville or something, because she was really adamant not to call her Sonya Deville. So I honestly don't know. But wasn't a bad match. Out of all the matches in the night, that would be my least favourite, although I really enjoyed it. Next match was the street fight, Dominik Mysterio versus Seth Rollins. This match had the emotion of what the last match should have had. This match was really good to me. Shout out to Dominik, yeah? I was wondering if you're going to come out your skinny jeans. This guy came out looking like Mustafa Ali, let's have it right. But it's not a problem, yeah? I mean, he came up with his dad, but he kind of told his dad, listen, let me handle this myself, I want to be a man, yeah? And he did. He had a few great spots in the match. Seth Rollins does what Seth Rollins does. He came out with Murphy. He was dressed in Rey Mysterio's 97 Halloween Havoc gear, what he fought Eddie Guerrero in, which to me is still one of the greatest matches I've ever seen. If you haven't seen that, check out the WWE Network. This match, yeah, it had everything. It was a no disqualification match. Well, it was a street fight. I don't know why they call it a street fight. It never goes. Remember back in the day, you used to go to pubs and stuff, but now it's just in the arena, so might as well just call it Falls Count anyway. Yeah, I don't know what to say about this match really. I expected Seth to win. Dominik held his own, but one of them is a seasoned wrestler and one is somebody just breaking into the business, so it is what I expected. There was a few cool things in the match. Rey Mysterio actually ended up coming down because Murphy got involved. At one point, Dominik's mom came out and Mysterio was like, take me, not her. They had handcuffed Rey Mysterio to the ropes so we could watch the beat down like the sun. There was a few spots from Dominik, 619, the frog splash, pretty cool. But what they did in the end was they handcuffed Rey Mysterio, watched held his head, held Dominik looking at him face to face, and curb stomped the face off him. And 1, 2, 3, Seth Rollins with the victory. Match after that was Sasha Banks versus Asuka. Obviously, Asuka had a match earlier on in the night. Boy, listen, I thought the first match was the great match. This match could have been possibly match of the night. Maybe it was for me. It was just great. It was both women just went at it. I've been so impressed with Sasha Banks since she returned when she had that hiatus for a while. She's picked up so much new things. Sasha as a heel just worked, which is kind of where I'm a little bit worried about when everyone's predicting that Bayley and Sasha's going to turn on each other. One of them's going to have to be heel and one's going to have to be babyface. I don't want to see Bayley babyface again because she's great as a heel, but at the same time, Sasha as a heel is perfect for me. I don't like her. Her character, you can't call yourself the boss and be arrogant and be a babyface. It kind of doesn't make sense. But into the match, great match. There was a great spot where Asuka got her in the Asuka lock. Well, it started in the arm bar, she got in the Asuka lock, she flipped over into a bank statement, she flipped over into Asuka lock, kept going back and forth, and then we had a repeat of the first match of the night where Asuka went for the hip attack. Bayley was on the apron, but this time Bayley moves to the side, Asuka comes through it, holds onto the rope, gives Bayley a forearm, and then Sasha goes to grab her, wraps Sasha up in the Asuka lock, Sasha taps out, and then it finishes with Sasha like some demon looks she was giving Asuka with the belt, and she didn't look too happy with Bayley. They've done this perfect. So when everyone else, people were saying turn them about 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, and I said it needs time to build, because as much as we know it's going to happen, let's not be too predictable. Let them shock us when it happens. Now, personally, I think is Sasha's no longer, she doesn't have that belt anymore. She has one belt left. which she's obviously going to try and hold on to. At Payback, they have to defend those titles. Don't know who they're going to defend them against, but what I think is going to happen is they're going to lose that match as well. It's going to leave Bayley with the championship, the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship, and it's going to leave Sasha beltless. And that's when the envy is going to set in, and you're going to slowly start to see a bit of jealousy, and then it's going to all culminate in, I don't know, it's going to explode, but hopefully when it does, it's at a pay-per-view, or it's at a, I don't know, a poignant moment. I don't want it to just be a random SmackDown where it happens, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, Asuka wins that belt. She gets her belt back, and to be fair to Asuka, she didn't lose the belt very fair, did she? So, from there, McIntyre versus Randy Orton. I know I just said the last match was my favourite. This followed very closely. It was so good. Drew McIntyre, every time he steps out, seems to raise the bar a little bit more, and he makes me more interested. Now, I know his job is not to make me personally interested, and I've never had a problem with Drew. I just felt like when he got the belt, it was a bit like, wins the Royal Rumble, beats Brock, but I didn't like how he beat Brock. It was a bit like, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, where do you go from there? You beat Brock, you're topping him out, and you beat him easy as well. So what happens after that? Well, what happens after that is he gets Randy Orton as a challenger who's been on a roll, legend killing. He's put about 5 legends on the shelf, I think. Maybe 6 since he had the match against Edge at WrestleMania. And it was one of those where when you're trying to predict the winner, it's like, do they stop Randy's push, or do they let McIntyre just raise the bar even more? This match was perfect. It was kind of based on the tagline of "you won't see it coming." I didn't like the way Mark Cole kept pointing that out in the match. It was a little bit cheesy, but the whole match was built around Randy was trying to RKO every couple of minutes. He'd try the RKO and Drew would counter it. He'd be ready. And then when it came to the one time Drew tried the Claymore, Randy countered it as well. Then he tried the RKO again. Drew countered it, and he won the match with just a simple roll up. It was like a shoulder slide. It's perfect because it leaves both men looking really strong. It was just a lapse in concentration from Randy Orton. It doesn't make him look weak. It means they can have a rematch. There's nothing too much for Drew to brag about in the sense of whooped your ass. In fact, I think in this match, Randy actually was the better person. Not by a long shot, but I reckon he was running the match. He had control of it for a long time. I really liked it. Really, really liked it. There was a lot going on in the match. But yeah, Drew retains his title. And then we go on to the final match, which was the main event. Braun Strowman versus Bray Wyatt, the Fiend. It went how I expected it to go, but it was a little bit better because I was wondering if it's going to be a squash type thing. Like I said with the last match, it didn't make any of these guys look weak. Whereas usually when you fight the Fiend, you will come off looking very weak. They went straight into the match. The Fiend controlled it, but then Braun picked it up, and he is a monster. Look at the size of him. He's very imposing, and like I said, it didn't make him look weak at all. Braun was battering him, and then the Fiend would just get back up, but it was slower. It was slower than it usually was, which kind of paid dividends to how strong Braun Strowman was. Braun at one point snapped. He took I think it was the cutter out the toolbox, what the Fiend was hitting him with earlier, and then he started cutting the ring up and removing all the padding, so it was just wood exposed. It backfired. He got caught with Uranagi, and then he went into a Sister Abigail, and then the Fiend picked him up, and then Sister Abigail again. 1, 2, 3. The Fiend wins his Universal title back, and then seconds later, one of the greatest moments I've had in the last however long. 2020 was rubbish until this moment came. The Fiend turns, holding the belt in his hand, and then BOW! Ooh! Ah! Roman returns. Yeah? Hits the Fiend with the spear. Comes with the new I can't even remember what. Oh no, they came with new merch, like that. Wreck everyone and leave, said on it. Black and white thing. He looks great. I follow Roman on Instagram, so I know he's been hitting the gym very hard and been on a meal plan, but he just looks so good. Hit the Fiend with a spear, nice and strong. Just heel Roman. He rolls out. He looks at Braun, And then he just goes for Braun as well. Hits Braun with a spear. Then goes and gets the steel chair. Comes back to Braun. Pounds him in. And while he's pounding him in, he's saying, you ain't a monster. You ain't a monster unless I'm around. Yeah? I made you. Now, a lot of people will be thinking, what is he talking about? Well, let's have it right. Braun Strowman rise to fame as a solo competitor, and where he got this big push from was against Roman. It was him fighting Roman and them going through all their turmoil. He actually came out better on the other side because Roman was getting booed at the time and stuff like that. Roman does that to him, he pounds him in with a chair. I think there's about 6 chair shots he does, then he rolls back into the ring. He goes to the corner, he waits for the Fiend to get off. I'm waiting for the ooh ah, but no, there's none of that. He just hits him with another spear. Yeah? Then he says, this is me, this is my yard. You're just a man in a mask. Picks up the belt, and he said the belt will always be his. And I was just like, Roman's my guy. Everyone knows it, but I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. Oh, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Is this heel Roman for real? Do not mug me off. Don't come back on SmackDown and he starts speaking nice again. I love the heel Roman move. Yeah. I hope he turns on the fans as well when they come back. Yeah, because he's been treated like crap. Yeah, we all know that. Roman was getting adulation from the fans before lockdown, simply, and I'm not even trying to beat him, simply because of what happened with his illness and stuff like that. Before that, they were just booing him. Yeah, so I'm saying heel Roman. Yeah, big things. SummerSlam 2020 was great. I have no I've picked out little things in that. But realistically, it was a great show. If I have to give it a mark out of 10, I'll give it like a 8.9. And that's only because, which is no one's fault, there's no fans, it's less emotion, you know what I mean? I can't get emotion off webcams and that. So a couple of men had some dead Wi-Fi, you know, like that. I did see someone in the crowd as well, which is a bit of a scumbag move. One of the webcam people changed their name to Fire Velveteen Dream, which is a little bit petty, you know what I'm saying? But it's WWE for you, unpredictable. You never saw it coming. I kind of wanted Roman to return, so I didn't see it coming, but I kind of wanted it to come, and it did, so I'm happy. Yeah, well done WWE. Yeah!